Mr. Apurva Muthalia, you're the Senior Managing Partner for IL&FS Investment based here in Dubai. Could you give me some background to the company, please?
Sure. Let me start by telling you what IL&FS Investment Managers does. We're essentially one of the largest Indian private equity fund managers. We focus on three areas: real estate, infrastructure, and growth capital. We have an AUM of close to 3 billion, which makes us one of the largest in India. Of this AUM, a large portion is really focused towards real estate. So close to 65% of this is focused towards real estate.
Okay. And what is the company investment manager's experience in the real estate funds business in India?
Right. Let me give you a bit of background as to how real estate investments started off in India. Real estate investments in India is fairly recent. It was open to institutional investment or by international investors only in 2005. IL&FS investment managers having been there, we sensed an opportunity. We saw the kind of returns that we could generate for investors, given that we were getting into a sector that didn't really have access to institutional equity capital earlier. So we raised, we went into the market in 2006, early 2006. We raised a fund of $525 million with some of the most pedigreed investors around the world, some of the largest names in the pension fund world and the endowment world. And given the breadth of our relationships and understanding of the market, we were able to invest the fund pretty quickly. So in about 2 years' time, we had invested this amount, and we actually went out and decided to raise another fund in 2008. Now, 2008 was not one of the easiest of years to really raise money in, but I think it's a testament to the kind of relationships and trust that we enjoyed with our investors, as well as the kind of performance that we showed on Fund 1. We actually raised a fund of $895 million in 2008.
So you fared the recession quite well?
Oh, absolutely. We're currently in investment mode on this fund, and we've got about 60% of this fund committed.
Okay.
Still got some more investing to do. We have a fairly large real estate practice in India. We have about 16 investment professionals dedicated to real estate investing alone. And in addition to this, we also have another joint venture which does yield funds for real estate in India, targeted at domestic investors until now.
Okay, so post the recession, what sort of opportunities are available in the Indian market for international investors?
Right. As a result of the global slowdown, India felt the slowdown too. So growth rates for GDP, which were at 9.5% for 5 years before 2008, actually came down to 6.5%, which is not too bad if you look at the way the world fared. But from an Indian context, 6.5% was lower then. But last 12 months have been very good. The economy has gone back into growth trajectory. So we're looking at 8.5% GDP growth rates already, and 8.5%, when you look at it in the context of a $1 trillion economy, is pretty large. So you have a very large, economic growth rate is back on track. You have a very strong domestic consumption story. So when you look at both of these and you put together these two, within real estate, we see a lot of exciting opportunities. So, 2006 to 2008, the kind of investments that we saw for opportunity funds was typically land acquisition, acquisition financing at that point of time. Now the opportunities that we see are very different. We see a lot of opportunities for last mile financing. We're seeing more advanced and ready to go projects where there is no acquisition risk, there is no entitlement risk. So all in all, if you look at on a risk adjusted basis, there are significant returns to be made by investing in opportunity funds. The other area that we see is yield funds. Now, within the Indian markets, you typically have not had international investing happening in yield funds, but we see a fairly large opportunity happening there as well.
And how easy or difficult is it for international investors to get involved in Indian real estate?
Well, it's been pretty easy in terms of you have to have the right partner in terms of the right fund manager investing for you on Indian real estate. But since the regulations have been opened up in 2005, it's pretty straightforward. There's 100% automatic approval for foreign money coming into real estate.
And which regions do you see as the up-and-coming areas in India?
Well, we typically, India is a large country. You've got 60 plus cities which have a population of 1 million plus, which is pretty large. But we as a fund manager have been focusing on tier 1 cities. So the top 6 cities of India are what we've been focusing on. So you're talking about Bombay, you're talking about Mumbai, you're talking about the national capital region that includes Delhi, you're talking about Bangalore, that's the IT capital, you're talking about Chennai, which is in the south, Hyderabad and Pune. These are the cities that we've been focusing on.
And who have you managed to catch up with at Cityscape?
Well, so far I've been meeting up with a few LPs, and I've met with a couple of other fund managers, as well as seen some of the new developments that are coming up in the GCC region. Pretty exciting.
Which ones have you taken note of?
Well, I've seen a lot. I saw the Falcon World part. I saw, the developments put up by the Miras Property Group. They've been pretty interesting. I think a lot of projects, the sense that I'm getting so far, having been at Cityscape so far, is that, there is interest that's coming back. I see a lot of revival. It's probably not as strong as it used to be earlier, but if you contrast this to last year, I'm seeing a lot of revival. I'm seeing a lot of interest again.